Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions, and welcome to your first video, well, Near Mint Condition video of 2024. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 30 most anticipated collected editions coming out in 2024. So, let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. That's right, it is our first video of the year, and what better way to kick off the year than to talk about some of these collected editions coming out later on this year. Now, before I even go through this list of top 30, I'd like to say a couple things. Number one, thank you all so much for being a big part of the channel. You are the biggest part of the channel. Thank you all for watching, for liking, for subscribing, for clicking that little bell for notifications, for sharing our videos, for being here, no matter if you started watching my videos yesterday or years back. Thank you all so much. The second thing I want to say is that this isn't every single book that's coming out in 2024. We don't have that list yet. And there are a couple of other books I haven't announced from Marvel from 2024 that end the year out that they may make it on the list. They may make it on the list. So I always do this twice a year. I do it at the beginning of the year, and I do it about halfway through the year, sometime in July, with the rest of the collected editions. Once those catalogs from DC, Image, IDW, Dark Horse are fully out. The other thing I want to say is thank you to our patrons for making videos like this possible. Could not be doing this without you all. And thank you for hitting that like button, everybody. That goes a long way for us, especially with all these little shorts and AI that YouTube doesn't mind pushing out there. Oh, I guess you could watch somebody's favorite upcoming collected editions in AI format, but you wouldn't have that authenticity of and Uncanny Omar talk pretty one day. Well, I don't know, maybe you could. Anyway, let's go ahead and start. We're going to do this in the release order. We're not going to do this in like a countdown order what my favorite is. These are the top 30, and let me tell you, top 30 was really difficult to do because there's so many books I am so excited for. And every month I do my top 10 most anticipated books. I'm probably not going to focus on anything in January. I'm going to jump right into February. So come back every month where I do my top 10. As a matter of fact, I just did my top 10 for January yesterday. I think it should have aired yesterday. All right. As long as there's no delays, this is the dates that I have for these particular books. And let me know in the comments down below what your top 10, top 30, top 20, top 50 are that you're looking forward to, or your number one book that you're looking forward to. Let's go ahead and start with Astro City, the Opus Edition, Book 1. A book that was supposed to come out in late 2023, but pushed back to February of 2024. Knock on wood, it'll come out. I know a couple of people working on the book, and they are working hard on this, making sure that you get the best possible product. What's really interesting is that we already know there's an Opus Edition Book 2 coming out. So you'll have Book 1 at the beginning of the year, and then Book 2 at the end of the year if everything goes right. This is one of my favorite series. Kurt Busiek's run on Astro City is just the stuff of legends. You have the Astro City Volume 1 through 6, the original series, and then 1 through 22 and the half issue from Volume 2, the 3D Special Number 1, Local Heroes 1 through 5, the Astro City Special Number 1, the Visitor's Guide, and then portions of the 9/11, the world's finest comic book stories and arts. Tell stories to remember. It has 1,168 pages. It does retail for $149.99. I will let you know if I do have that information, by the way. But very, very much looking forward to this one, and I have been for a long time. We knew it was coming because Kurt Busiek, well, he's been saying it's been coming for about 5 years, but it is finally coming. I've seen what the end book looks like, what the cover, oh, it looks beautiful. I can't wait to own this and hold it in my hand. Also in February is My Name is Shingo, Perfect Edition. Hardcover. There's not a lot of manga that is coming out in box sets, or at least that I have not seen announced. We have like 4 or 5 volume box sets, but I'm looking forward to the big box sets. There's so many finished series by Viz and by Dark Horse and by yen press that I wish they would release in a big slipcase edition or a big box set like they did with Promised Neverland or the Demon Slayer box set. But why am I excited about this one? Because of the mangaka Kazuo Umezu, the creator of The Drifting Classroom and Cat-Eyed Boy. He also did Orochi. He's just a master of horror. Before I knew who Junji Ito was, there was Kazuo Umezu, and so far there's 2 volumes solicited. It's a science fiction tale of humanity and artificial intelligence, so all done by the master mangaka Kazuo Umezu. Very, very excited for that one. Next up on the list is Vinland Saga, another book that was supposed to be coming out this year, but pushed out until February of next year, and that is the deluxe edition, so it is the 3-in-1. We're looking at 688 pages, where the other books, the Vinland Saga hardcovers that came out from Kodansha, were 2-in-1. This is the first 3 editions. Now, these were, I think, originally published in Japan. These deluxe editions. So this is the stuff that has never come out here, like the exclusive color content that has never been published in English. And you're going to have I think there's an interview with Makoto Yukimura, if I'm not mistaken, in here. And it's also bigger, taller than I keep looking over there because that's where I keep mine, than your Vinland Saga hardcovers. I can't wait to own this in a big, beautiful format like this. Next up on my list is Superman Emperor Joker, the deluxe edition. I absolutely love this story. This is one that I never get tired of alternate realities. I know people get tired of alternate realities. They get tired of multiverses. But I think they open up for really fun stories. And that's probably because I'm a child of the 80s. And I grew up reading What If. And I grew up reading the Elseworld stories from DC Comics. This is what would happen if Joker became Emperor of the World. Even though it's a Superman story, it does the flip on the whole Batman and Joker relation. And you also have Bizarro in here, and Collecting Adventures of Superman 582 and 583, Superman 160 and 161, Superman Man of Steel 104 to 105, Action Comics 769 to 770, and then Emperor Joker one-shot. A lot of the stuff in here is done by Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. This is a $49.99 deluxe edition hardcover, so it's oversized. I can't wait to see it in oversized format. 296 pages. Now, if you're thinking, wait a minute, this stuff's already been released in trade paperbacks and in the thick trade when it was reprinted, that is true. It has been. But I'm just looking forward to it because it's one of my favorite stories. It's goofy. It's a lot of fun with beautiful artwork. And this is when Jeff Loeb was writing the story still. And next up is the Initial D Omnibus. I'm a big fan of Shuichi Shigeno's just Initial D manga. And I was really sad when Tokyo Pop didn't get to finish it. As a matter of fact, I just found all of my manga, my Initial D manga, in my garage of all places, of course, because we moved I guess if you're watching this video, a couple of years ago, and I finally started going through the garage. This is 448 pages, and it's pretty much just volumes 1 and 2 of this long out-of-print manga. There was a reason why, we had several seasons of the anime, why we had movies, and why we had Fast and the Furious. What was it? Tokyo Drift. There was a big resurgence of this type of stories in the 90s here in America, or late 90s, early aughts in America, and then it started dying down. So I really hope that this Japanese street racing phenomenon that became a manga gets finished out this time. It is published this time by Kodansha, so it's not Tokyo Pop anymore. Fingers crossed. Flash by Joshua Williamson Omnibus. The Flash doesn't get not a lot of love, so I'm so happy to see that Joshua Williamson's run on Flash is coming out in a big omnibus format. It is labeled a volume 1, so there's enough material for a volume 2. Collecting the Flash Rebirth number 1, Flash 1 through 35, Batman 21 through 22, so that means the button is collected in here fully. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps 32, Justice League 32 through 33. And then a story for the Holiday Special 2017, number 1. It also has an introduction by Joshua Williamson. Carmine Di Giandomenico is the main artist, but also Howard Porter coming back. And this is the era of the DC Rebirth, so you have Barry Allen being the main Flash. This is after the New 52 era. And I've mentioned this before when I got to announce it, that it's really interesting that for Flash we're getting, we're getting the William Messner Lopes. You may see it on this list. We have Wade Volume 1 with no sign of a Volume 2 yet. We have the Francis Manapul era, the New 52 era, Volume 1. We don't have the follow-up era to that, so we don't have a Volume 2. So this will be kind of like the fourth Flash Omnibus that we're getting Volume 1 with no sign of Volume 2, but it looks like, we're getting a lot more DC Omnis already in 2024. So here's hoping. Next up on the list is Micronauts. Oh my gosh, yes, Micronauts Omnibus Volume 1, the original Marvel years of Micronauts. I remember reading this series when I was a kid. I remember finding out about the Micronauts through the crossover with the X-Men, and I remember hunting down those single issues. I remember finding them for a quarter and then couldn't find like issue number 12 or number 13 maybe. I had to pay like $3 for it, and for a kid back then in '89, that was a lot of money. Because it wasn't X-Men. But this collects Micronauts 1 through 29, Annuals 1 and 2, and the material from the Micronauts Special Edition 1 through 5. And all that is probably just the covers and I think a couple of pinups, because those were just the reprints of the classic Micronauts series. $125, 744 pages. Bill Mantlo, Michael Golden should be that should sell you enough on this book. But you also have Howard Chaykin drawing some of these issues, and then of course one of the covers by Dave Cockrum. Cannot wait to have that book. Trigun Deluxe Edition, and this was originally solicited for, I think it was November of 2023. Had a couple of issues. But Dark Horse did let me know that it is still coming. I just can't say what happened. That is up to them to let people know. But $49.99, 704 pages, collecting the original Trigun Series 1 and 2. And this has never been released in America in a hardcover format. And this is being released in a oversized format now, with that faux leather cover and the foil stamping like we have with Berserk, and we have with Hellsing, and we have with Blade of the Immortal. So I can't wait to add another one of these, and of course with that beautiful ribbon. And hopefully they'll see that people are still having an interest in these particular books and want to keep having more and more of these deluxe editions of their favorite manga. I'm hoping for a Masamune Shirow era of stuff. Because, I mean, that stuff is just, that was my childhood, and it was the stuff that, well, I was getting into middle school, into high school, when that Orion was coming out, when Appleseed was coming. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe I should just do a video on my most wanted manga hardcovers. Yes, that's what I should do. In May, Justice League International Omnibus Volume 3. Oh my gosh, I have been waiting for that particular omnibus. I never thought we were going to get it, and here it finally is. Rest in peace, Keith Giffen. This is the stuff that I remember having to go to Walmart to try to find the missing issues, because I had just started collecting it again, and it has in here the Justice League of America 51 through 60, Secret Origins 33 through 35, Justice League of America Annual number 5, Green Lantern 18, Justice League Quarterly 2 through 5, the JLA 80-page Giant number 1, formerly known as the Justice League 1 through 6, JLA Classified 4 through 9, Justice League Europe 26 through 36, DC Retroactive JLA the 90s number 1, Justice League Europe Annual 2, and the Justice League International Special number 2. $150 for this big, beautiful, nostalgic walk down memory lane. 1,448 pages. So it's not just Keith Giffen. Of course, there's Kevin Maguire in here, and J.M. DeMatteis, and a few other creators that help put this particular book together. But if you've never read it, I strongly suggest getting, or at least going back and getting Volume 1. The new printing of Volume 1 is corrected. There's no issues with it. But seeing if that's your cup of tea. Because I know a lot of people think that this is the goofy Justice League, that it's nothing but jokes. But there's a lot of heart in this particular series. I've done an overview of Volumes 1 and 2 if you want to go back and check that out. See if the art's even for you. Because this is the stuff that happens after Crisis. But very, very excited that it's actually coming out. Little Monsters Deluxe Edition, coming out from the mind of Jeff Lemire and the mind of Dustin Nguyen. So they are reunited. They're the ones that did the Descender and Ascender series. And I cannot wait for this. I'm going into this completely blind, just based on the creators. I don't know if people tend to do that or not, but since this is a video, I do have to tell people what this is about. So let me just read it, because this is the first time I'm reading about what this is. They are the last children on Earth who also happen to be vampires. For longer than they can remember, these child vampires have lived a life of eternal wonder amongst the ruins of humanity. But shocking events fracture the group and set them on a path of discovery that will shatter their innocence forever. Okay, the ultimate survival depends on their ability to work together against the humans, collecting issues 1 through 13. So, I didn't know what it was about. Now I know it's about vampire children, but very excited for that nonetheless. Coming up in June of this year is Star Wars. Can't believe it's 2024. Star Wars Legends: The New Republic Omnibus Volume 2. There was some delay. This was supposed to come out this year, but now it's coming out in June of sorry, it was supposed to come out in 2023, but now it's coming out in June of 2024. Yeah, let's see AI make that mistake. Human error, baby. You can't duplicate it. Knock on wood. Jabba the tape, the Jabba tape is collected in here. Heir to the Empire 1 through 6. Dark Force Rising 1 through 6. The Last Command 1 through 6. Dark Empire 1 through 6, which is my favorite Star Wars comic. Dark Empire 2, which is the follow-up 1 through 6. Empire's End, which finishes that trilogy 1 and 2. Star Wars Boba Fett, Twin Engines of Destruction, Bounty on Barkuda, When the Fat Lady Swings, Murder Most Foul, and Agent of Doom. Star Wars Handbook number 3, and the material from Star Wars Tales 1, 3 through 5, 10, 14, 20, and 22. $150, 1,312 pages. This is the Dark Horse era of Star Wars, and that is coming out in June. Also in June is Hitman. Finally getting an omnibus by Garth, Ennis, and John McCrea. And this collects, well, actually, no, we still don't know what the contents of this is. 1,136 pages, $125 is what we know. But this series has been released in trade paperback format, and those are out of print. Those have been long out of print. They never did like a fat compendium or fat trades of this series. So I'm really happy to see Tommy Monaghan coming back in an omnibus format. Oh, and it's so fun. Those first few issues are so fun. I assume it's going to have his first appearance. I assume it's going to have that annual, and I'm assuming it's going to have all the little crossovers that he had. That Superman issue, man, is so good. Garth Ennis is this is like some of his best stuff. This is before he did Punisher too. And also in June is Something is Killing the Children, the Slipcase Edition Volume 2. If you've not had a chance to read the first one came and went out of print, and I just urge you to go and check it out. It is so good. This one is collecting Something is Killing the Children 21 through 35. And I've had people reach out to me saying, what's going on with the missing issues? They may put that together with the spin-off series and have another slipcase edition. Now, when I say slipcase, this has a slipcase, which is $69.99, and then out of the slipcase is $59.99, like the first book. So I'm very excited for this one. I've not read any of it outside of Volume 1. It's still James Tynion and Werther del Edera on artwork. But very excited, and that is coming from Boom in June. Captain America by Mark Gruenwald, Omnibus Volume 1. So excited to actually say those words, and I got to announce it. It's my favorite Captain America run. Oh my gosh. And that, by the way, for Marvel, I'm only using one cover. You probably saw. But that standard edition cover, Mike Zeck. All right. Collected in here is Captain America 307 to 350, Annual Number 8, Marvel Fanfare 29, Amazing Spider-Man 278, Iron Man 228, and Marvel Fanfare 26, 31, and 32, and the Scourge subplot pages. Oh, yes. 1,336 pages, $150. So it's not just Mike Zeck, it's also Paul Neary, but Mark Gruenwald on Captain America. Ugh. Chef's kiss, baby. Chef's kiss. It's about time. Dark Horse is now going to be printing the out-of-print IDW series Canto. If you've never read Canto, it is adorable. It is by David M. Boer and Drew Sucker. And Volume 1 is coming out in a hardcover format. I don't have the dimensions yet. There are no dimensions announced for this book. I'm hoping they do a oversized format style. 192 pages. I know Dark Horse doesn't really, but I'm hoping that they give it that treatment, because it is a beautiful, beautiful book about a little robot with no heart. That's all I will say. If you've never read it, oh my gosh. Ironically, it will pull at your heartstrings. This was tough, like which books I'm excited about. There's 30 choices, and I got to limit myself, but I am really excited about Spider-Man by MICHELINIE and Bagley Omnibus Volume 1. This collects Amazing Spider-Man 351 to 375. It also collects Amazing Spider-Man Annuals 25 and 26, and the material from Spectacular Spider-Man Annuals 11 and 12, Web of Spider-Man Annuals 7 and 8, and New Warriors Annual number 2. $125, 1,048 pages. The big question is, how much double dipping, or will it double dip when a Volume 2 comes out? Because we are talking about Maximum Carnage. Or are they only going to stick to just putting the issues by MICHELINIE and Bagley in that omnibus and just give you a recap of what happened in Maximum Carnage? So what I've told viewers, and you can do whatever you want to, you're a responsible adult, most of you watching this. If you're not, go get your parents' permission. Keep that Spider-Man vs. Venom omnibus, just in case, right? When we see it, when and if, or if and when rather, we see a Spider-Man by MICHELINIE Bagley Omnibus Volume 2, see that mapping first. I'd hate for anybody to get rid of that book hoping that all of Maximum Carnage will be collected in a Volume 2, but who knows? It might still be. I'm just trying to tell people ahead of time, not to flip their books or sell them because they think something is coming. And who knows? I mean, we may not even get a Volume 2. Nothing's for sure in this hobby. That's something I've learned. All right, coming out in July. July is huge for me. I mean, huge. There's so many books coming out in July. You'll probably see all these in my top 10 unless something else knocks it out of the way. X-Factor, the original X-Men Omnibus Volume 1 is coming out. And this collects Avengers 263, Fantastic Four 286, X-Factor 1 through 26, Annuals 1 and 2 of X-Factor, Iron Man Annual number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 282, Thor 373 through 374, as well as 377 and 378, Power Pack 27 and 35, Mephisto versus number 2, Incredible Hulk 336 to 337, Secret Wars 2 number 5, and then material from Marvel Fanfare 40, and Classic X-Men 8 through 43. And I know what some people are thinking, I don't want to say most. Why am I excited for this one? It's already double dipping a lot. If you have the Fall of the Mutants, if you have the Inferno Prologue, if you have Inferno, or it's been released in Epic format, because I'm the Uncanny Omar and I like big books and I cannot lie. Even if I sang that, it would have been just as stupid as saying it, believe me. X-Factor was a series that I grew up with, so coming out finally in an oversized format, hell yes, I'm excited. And to have everything in there, including the stuff I would have mapped it just like this, including the Secret Wars 2, number 5, which introduces you to Boom Boom, including issues of Mephisto Versus, which is just the second issue, but the Power Pack issues, the Thor issues. Oh my gosh, yes. Of course I'm excited for this. I hope they include the letter pages. That's the one thing I'm hoping for, because New Mutants and Wolverine did not have, neither did Excalibur. But I'm hoping they do start including the letter pages on these. But yes, I know that there is, and some people, I don't want to say all or most, and some people are very excited for the Mutant Massacre Prelude, but I am more excited for X-Factor Volume 1. Because then that gives me hope that we'll have a Volume 2. Although they'll have to change the name, right? X-Factor, the original X-Men Omnibus, will have to change eventually, especially when we get to the Peter David era. In July, oh my gosh, the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service, they just threw this in there. Book 6 Omnibus. Oh my gosh, I love this stuff. This is the 3-in-1 books, and my spines, knock on wood, for volumes 1 through 5 have been holding strong. They reprinted 1 through 4 this year, or was it, in 2022 or 2023, and then we got a volume 5 out of nowhere. So that lets us know that they still hold the rights to Eiji Otsuka and Hosui Yamazaki's Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service. So this volume 6 came out of nowhere, and since I said this is a 3-in-1, what this really collects are volumes, well, let's do the math. It's 16, 17, and 18 of this manga that originally came out in those smaller size books. But I don't know if and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of stopped to get the Omnibus editions. And the Omnibus, by the way, are soft cover. I've done an overview of them if you want to check it out on the channel. This one's 664 pages, $29.99. I don't think they collected issues 16, 17, and 18 in a tankobon size, at least in America, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Sláine, the Horn God Anniversary Edition from 2000 AD. This looks absolutely stunning. It comes in 3 hardcovers and a slipcase. And I believe there's going to be a more affordable format, like a trade paperback format of Sláine, the Horn God Anniversary Edition, coming out in July. Oh my gosh. This is Pat Mills and Simon Beasley, and a lot of my viewers have told me that I need to check this out if I'm a fan of Conan. So, yes, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. I think it's a Celtic character. My buddy Super Laugh Hard sent me some books. I've only read a couple of the stories in there, but apparently the Horn God is the definitive Sláine story, and you let me know if that's not right. At least that's what 2000 AD Rebellion says. Also in July, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, the Deluxe Edition. I was a big fan of this book. It's not in continuity. It's just a beautiful story with artwork by Bilquis Evely and, of course, written by Tom King. 256 pages, so we got a couple more pages than the trade paperback, and $49.99. But it is in an oversized format, collecting all 8 issues of this particular series. I think Bilquis is drawing Wonder Woman now, if I'm not mistaken, with Tom King. But taken out of continuity, so always keep that in mind when reading these particular stories, even though it doesn't say DC Black Label or Elseworld. Lots in July. H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountain of Madness, Deluxe Edition. This is one that I've known about for a little while, but it is not up to me to announce books for Dark Horse. Whenever they want me to, I'm here. So I'll be more than happy to. This collects At the Mountain of Madness. It is an adaptation, volumes 1 and 2, by Go Tanabe. And I've done an overview a few years back of volumes 1 and 2. And in my overview, that's probably 4 years old now, I said, man, I really wish this was in a deluxe edition, like an oversized format, because the artwork would benefit from that. And sure enough, we're getting one that is coming out in July. David Mazzucchelli's Batman Year 1 Artist Edition. I've fallen in love with these artist editions. IDW has put out a lot of these. The Apex editions are being put out by 2080 Rebellion. And now we're getting some DC stuff, and we're kicking it off with Batman Year 1, the David Mazzucchelli Batman Year 1, the Frank Miller story. And absolutely, the volume, I will collect artwork from Batman 404 to 407, and I can't wait to see it in those big, beautiful pages. This one's 144 pages, $150, but again, they're huge, oversized, actual art pages that artists would use. Yeah, they're just scanned and then, of course, reprinted in a big, beautiful hardcover edition. So IDW is now doing some stuff for DC, but that's the one I'm most excited for. Also coming out in July is the Bone Orchard Tenement hardcover. This is a book that my buddy Wonder Matty had asked if I had read, and no, I haven't. I didn't even know about it, and then I started looking into it. I'm like, oh, I'm there. Because it is the same team that did Gideon Falls, so this is another Jeff Lemire book, but this time around he's teaming up with Andre Sorrentino. And this collects Bone Orchard Tenement 1 through 10. So if you've read it, let me know if you've enjoyed it, but it looks like it's up my horror alley. And, oh, that cover looks awesome, so I cannot wait to read it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the IDW Collection, Volume 16. Of course I'm excited for these. I love that IDW is still continuing putting these books out of their ongoing IDW series in hardcover format. Sophie Campbell's still writing the stories. Tom Waltz stepping in here, collecting issues 125 to 132, the 2021 annual and 2022 annual, and the Armageddon game opening moves 1 and 2, which gives me hope that Volume 17 will have the Armageddon games in reading order, because they've done an amazing job of collecting this series. Anytime they have a series like Transformers, unfortunately, got discontinued. G.I. Joe, they tried. They do it in wonderful, thoughtful reading order. And this one is $59.99, 328 pages. Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky Omnibus, Volume 1. So excited for this one. I'm a big fan of this particular series. Collecting Daredevil 1 through 30 and Daredevil Annual Number 1. And this is the 2019 series, so keep that in mind. One of the reasons is not just Chip Zdarsky. I love Chip. Chipperoonie. Chip, as my wife likes to call him. Marco Cacchetto's amazing artwork are all over this book. I like this take on Daredevil. It's like Matt Murdock realizing he's getting older. He's not as quick as he used to be. And then, of course, a lot of bad things happening to Matt. Because what is a Daredevil story without something bad happening to Matt Murdock? About damn time. Aquaman by Peter David Omnibus. Yes, all day, every day. 1,464 pages. We don't know the content yet. This is another one that we don't know the content of. Coming out in July, $150. I assume it's going to be everything right before, I believe it was it Eric Larson or DNA that took over his book? He just kind of left, and this last storyline kind of got wrapped up by the next writer. I want to say it was Larson that wrapped it up. So I'm hoping they collect at least the first 2 issues of that. Oh my gosh. I hope they have Time and Tided here. I assume they will. I don't know if they'll have the Atlantis Chronicles. That would be awesome. At 1,464 pages, though. Was that... It might be. It might be in there. But yes, one I'm very excited for. And Peter David on an omnibus, whether it's Marvel or DC. Oh, yes. All day, every freaking day. How could I not be excited about Extreme X-Men Omnibus Volume 2? I was talking to my buddy Peter M. about, I get asked about this, like when people are asking me, Omar, how good is Extreme X-Men? I know what it is, but it's one of those things that I'm excited for, but I don't know if I could get other people excited for the same reason, because this is Chris Claremont writing his toys, his favorite toys, and it's Chris Claremont, my favorite writer. Not just X-Men writer. Not favorite comic book writer. My favorite writer of all time. Let me tell you what it collects first. Mechanics 1 through 6. Extreme X-Men 25 through 46. X-Women number 1. That's with Manara's art. And then material from X-Men Unlimited number 39. So this is the era after he came back to X-Men during the Revolution era. Then he came back again to X-Men after this for the Reloaded era. But this, to me, it seems like, Marvel was letting Grant Morrison do their thing, a new X-Men. And then Chuck Hosted got to do his thing in Uncanny. So during this particular time, it really felt like the editors were just letting writers do whatever they wanted to. There were a couple of characters that Chris couldn't use, including Peter, for reasons. Rasputin. Or there were a couple of things he couldn't do, particularly the story with Betsy, but that came back later on in the Uncanny issues. But I don't know, I really enjoyed this series. Igor Kordy does the artwork throughout most of this. And yes, I have asked if they could ask the Extreme X-Men miniseries 1 through 5, but I haven't heard yet. So far it's 816 pages, $100. So of course I'm excited for that one. It's X-Men. It's Claremont. Why not? The Once and Future Deluxe Edition Slipcase Volume 2. Also very, very excited for this one. And again, this one will be available in a hardcover format, and it will be available in a slipcase format. This is the story by Kieran Gillen and Dan Mora, collecting Once and Future 19 through 30. I was a huge fan of the first one, and I cannot wait to read more of this in a big, oversized format. It did win an Eisner, I think it won an Eisner, but it did not win a Hugo. But this is the conclusion, so there's just going to be 2 box sets of this particular series. And man, Dan Mora's artwork is just so awesome in that. Alright, Excalibur Omnibus Volume 3. See, they're not all X-Men. Some of these are Spider-Man. Some of these are ones in future. I'm not just excited. Manga. I'm not just excited for X-Men, but of course I'm excited for X-Men. Collecting Excalibur 68 through 103, Annuals 1 and 2, X-Men Unlimited number 4, X-Factor 106, X-Force 38, so the Phalanx Covenant, X-Man number 12, the crossover with X-Men, Pride and Wisdom 1 through 3, and the material for Marvel Comics Presents 174. This was such an interesting time for Excalibur. It was right after Alan Davis left the book, and it was like the editors were trying to find out, what exactly is this title going to be? So Scott Lobdell went in there and tried to do some things. He stuck around for about a year, and then Warren Ellis took over the book and kind of made it a darker story, especially with those issues with the Soul Saga or the Soul Sword trilogy. Introduced the character of Peter Wisdom to the stories. So excited for this one. And yes, the Joe Mad cover is the one. It was supposed to come out in 2023, but delays, and now coming out in September of 2024. And last, but absolutely not least, my #1 most wanted Marvel Omnibus of 2023, coming out in 2024. In September, Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch Omnibus Volume 1, collecting Ghost Rider 1 through 24, Spider-Man 6 through 7, Mark Spector Moon Knight 25, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme 28, Punisher War Journal 29 through 30, The Hearts of Darkness one-shot, Marvel Holiday Special number 1, and then material for Marvel Comics Presents 64 through 71 and 90 through 118. 1,216 pages, $125, absolutely. And the fact that they changed it to a Volume 1 instead of just Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Omnibus, hells yes. Means probably we'll get a Volume 2. I don't want to get all hyped up, but and then that Volume 2 will have the Brood crossover with the X-Men. You'll have the Spirits of Vengeance. And then oh my gosh, to have the Spirits of Vengeance just as an omnibus, and the Darkhold and Morbius and Blade. That era was just so fun. But yes, that's how I am wrapping up this list of 30. Now, when these books come up, or if you want to pre-order them, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code NEARMINTCONDITION at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my list of the top 30 most anticipated graphic novels, or my most anticipated graphic novels. Let me know in the comments down below what you're most excited for, what your #1 book is, what from this list you were like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was coming out. How did I miss that? Wow. Thank you, Omar, for putting that list together. You're welcome. But seriously, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button on the way out. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. If you made it to the end of the video and you haven't subscribed yet, what's up with that? And check out our Patreon. It is an amazing way to support the channel. But that's it, everyone. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love. Oh, and keep an eye out on the channel because I have more top 10 lists coming. Much love.